This sport is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Padres get ready for a 3-game set in Cincinnati, taking on the Reds, who are both fighting for a NL wildcard spot. The Reds bringing a record of 42-39, while the Padres sitting at 44-36. The game starts at 4:10 today. The Padres are currently minus 130 on the money line. Dylan Cease will be going for the Padres, while Nick Martinez will be going for the Reds. And Ace Bailey, for getting drafted to the Utah Jazz at number 5 overall, reportedly did not want to go there, has still not reported to Utah for camp. His agent said he'll be there by Monday, but we will wait and see. Need help fast. Anderson same-day guarantee clears clogs pronto. Nobody wows clients like they do. Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air has served over 500,000 residential clients for more than 45 years. Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air, that's AndersonPHA.com.
Friday fun day on the Fledge Show. To welcome into San Diego Sports 760 live on AM 760, 101.2 KGP AM, and of course on the award-winning, outstanding, near perfection, immaculate, insatiable iHeartRadio app. I'm Jonathan Rifkin, filling in for Ben Fletcher, who's somewhere gallivanting across the northwest shores of Lake Tahoe. In a moment, we're going to be joined by Sammy Long and Marshall Thomas. Coming up on the show today, you will have an opportunity for a pair of tickets to see Billy Idol to celebrate Live Nation's $30 ticket to summer, Tuesday, September 23rd at North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. That's coming up later on the show. Derek Togerson from NBC7 is going to join us here in hour number 1. In hour number 2, Steve Hartman, the only man who's allowed to talk to me before 6 a.m. He's going to join us in hour number 2. There's been some big news that directly affects all of you Aztec fans out there. The Pac-12 has officially invited Texas State into the conference. I quickly want to get to this before we officially open the show, because I think this is really important and something that can't go amiss here midday in the gorgeous southern part of California. So somehow, some way, the Pac-12, it's still breathing. It's still in the fight. And San Diego State finally walking into a conference with a pulse and some national TV cameras to go with it. But look, we've had our fun with the Pac-12 names. It's not the same without USC. Texas State, seriously? Yeah, seriously. But let's peel back the chaos, Aztec fans, and realize that things actually make sense for San Diego State. Earlier this week, the league locked down that deal with CBS. Real TV, real visibility, real relevance. National football and basketball games back on the network, conference championships and primetime cable coverage on CBS Sports Network, and more partners coming soon. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But it's stability, and for this league, that's a win. And now Texas State, San Marcos, Texas, baby, stand up. The Pac-12 adds its 8th football member and finally checks that box that could put them into the college football playoff, at least eligibility-wise. So for San Diego State, it opens up that all-important Texas recruiting pipeline. No, the Bobcats aren't Texas or Oklahoma, but they bring 40,000 students, a growing football program, and a prime location between Austin and San Antonio into the Pac-12 conference. It's all about positioning. 2 years ago, San Diego State was stuck at the kids' table in the Mountain West, knocking on every door in every college sport looking for a way up. Now the Aztecs walk in a new look Pac-12 as one of the flagship football brands, a national name in basketball. Gonzaga is joining for hoops. CBS joins for national TV. And suddenly San Diego State's not begging for a seat. They're leading the conversation. Call it a rebuild. Call it the group of 6. Call it weird. But don't call it irrelevant, because the Pac-12 is still alive, and San Diego State, they're walking in with leverage, baby. With that, we welcome Texas State to the Pac-12 conference, and we welcome Sammy Long and Marshall Thomas to the Fletch Show. Gentlemen, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, no, we're stoked on that kind of regard. You know, it's important. Now you have the kind of Texas recruiting, recruiting ground. That's why you ask the Big Ten why, if you're Ohio State or you're Michigan, you get SC in the conference for the Big Ten, or UCLA or Oregon and Washington. Now you can come recruit on the West Coast. You can try to recruit in Los Angeles, which is a really big deal. So yeah, I'm excited. It's cool that the new deals with CBS, and I can't wait for our very own Marshall is joining the show today.
What's up, fellas? It's a great day to have a great day. Happy to be here, and thank you for this opportunity to go guest host with you guys.
This is the most positive man in all of San Diego.
Right.
Well, okay, hold on. Marshall, I don't know you. You're competing with a guy named, sorry, hold on. There's ambulances going by. I apologize. Welcome to the working from home lifestyle sometimes. But you are competing with the great Jack Cronin for that title as most positive man. So you have 1 hour and 54 minutes now to officially claim the top spot in that category.
I will do my
excited
best.
For it.
I will do my best. And speaking on the Texas State going to the Pac-12, are they going to rename it the Pac State 12?
Yeah,
San Diego State, Fresno State, Texas State.
Yeah,
I don't know, a bunch of other states, right?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Gonzaga, I'm scratching my head just a little bit, but I hear you. Funny enough, I actually think that we're going to be seeing a split with the UCs and the state schools in the Big West. And so, believe it or not, Marshall, you might be predicting a different conference. That's going to happen pretty soon.
If Gonzaga pushed back on that, I'd say once you get a football team, you can come talk to us.
They don't need it. They're one of the few basketball programs that actually makes good national TV money. So I think they're okay up there in Spokane. You can text the show 70470. First word of the text team, TEAM. We're going to get into SDFC in hour number 2. But right now it is time for the big 3.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
All right, boys, Big 3. Let's start with the Padres. Start a 3-game stretch against Cincinnati Reds in Cincinnati. What team in the wild card picture currently makes you the most nervous with them all kind of clumped hanging right there?
Well, to me, I think it's the Phillies. Gritty Phillies. They're already vets, proven. They won, a few years ago, but I think that's the toughest one in the wild card.
Rifkin?
Yeah, now that they're healthy, I know what we saw earlier in the season from them. But yeah, I actually completely agree. And their bullpen's been really good. And as we know, it's a war of attrition in the postseason. When you get into the wild card, if you're not going to score runs in mass, you're going to need bullpen to pick up the slack. And I completely agree with you, Marshall. I think it's the Phillies.
Yeah, Phillies are certainly there. Yeah, they're definitely the most proven track record. The Brewers are interesting. Even the Padres went 2-3 against them. They have been there before. And had they not had that big Pete Alonso home run in the wild card last year, they might have been moving on to take on the Phillies. But I guess you got to put some respect on the Giants' name, even though the Padres have gone 4-2 against them earlier on this year, which is a really big deal. We're getting to the point where tiebreakers do matter. And I know people want to say it's only June, but this matters when you're playing in the NOS. Adding Devers there, we know that they kind of have everything. They have the pitching staff. They have the bullpen. The thing they don't have is the big hitters. Devers certainly kind of contributes to that. We'll see if they make another move.
That right there really quickly. That's the key, right, Ralph? We haven't seen the Padres go up against a Rafi Dever energized San Francisco Giants team.
Totally. All right, NBA draft wraps up. What was your most slept on pick of the both rounds, or what team came out much better in your opinion than they came in?
Well, to me, it's the Spurs. With Dylan Harper and Carter Bryant to go along with Wemby and all that new energy down in San Antonio, I think it's the Spurs.
Totally. I really like that pick. Yeah, the Spurs are loaded for bear. And I thought they were going to dump all those picks to try to go get a Durant or a Giannis or someone to pair with the big 3. But I kind of like the youth movement down there. Just let them grow. Rifkin, what about you?
Yep, Spurs.
Just piggybacking off that.
I'm like, do I just lie about my take now that we all picked the Spurs? But I'm going to try being genuine.
I think OKC set the precedent. Like, hey, you need young teams to build. You don't need these big 3 anymore like it used to be.
That is, Marshall, I'm so happy you said that, because everybody's like, oh, the NBA is so boring with these super teams. Like, this is now the blueprint, and we're going to see it being replicated. Orlando, by the way, who is a sleeper in the East next season, or maybe not even sleeper, Sammy, you might be able to speak to this more, but they have also followed that blueprint. Detroit is following that blueprint.
Yeah.
San Antonio is following that blueprint. So now we are seeing en masse a little bit more of follow the lead of Oklahoma City.
Totally agree with both of you. I mean, I think it's changed in the NBA. It was always about get the big 3. After Miami, the Miami Heat teams, with Bosh and LeBron and Wade, and then it was Durant, Curry, and Clay. Now it's Presti's totally made this kind of new wave. And to that point, Rifkin, what you said, I mean, the Magic are certainly a team to be reckoned with next year. I think they're being slept on after Bane went there and Wagner's coming back. And then the Pistons, I mean, they totally built from the ground up, kind of were patient with Cade Cunningham, let that get through. And those are some teams, I think it's totally changed the way we look at draft picks.
Well, yeah, I just think that no other team is going to compromise their future anymore with trading draft picks in the future. They're going to build with the young teams, with the young players for their team.
Totally. I go with, piggyback on what you guys said. I would go I go the Pelicans. Pelicans getting Derek Queen at number 13 and Jeremiah Fears at 7.
Ooh.
Trading up for Queen?
That's a nice move. And Jeremiah Fears, I feel like, didn't get enough respect in this draft because he's literally 18 years old and he's pretty skinny and small. But this dude took it to UConn in March Madness. Really talented player. Was fantastic for Oklahoma. And it was kind of just him. It was only him by himself. It's kind of cool seeing this whole freshman youth movement of the first 8 picks being freshmen, a whole kind of thing. I think that kind of helped the NBA draft be a little bit more entertaining.
And by the way, Sammy, you and I predicted it on Thursday. The first 12 picks were all from colleges and not from Europe.
Exactly. And that's something that like everyone can get behind because we've seen these guys play. It's hard when a scout tells you this guy's great. You're like, all right, well, I guess we'll see it next year.
Right, exactly.
Okay, let's do let's go to SDFC real quick. SDFC wins 5-3 over Vancouver the other night. Are they legit title contenders?
Absolutely. What Mikey Varas is doing with that team, an expansion team, and the Escondido's own Milan, like Adrian Garcia Marquez calls them, Golovsky. Just a remarkable feat. 4 goals, the way he did it on the road against the number 1 seed or the top team in the Western Conference. Amazing.
Formerly top team in the Western Conference.
Thank you.
But sorry, it wasn't even a correction. It's just a point of excitement because, we talked about like this expansion team energy on Thursday, Sammy and Marshall. I'm curious, maybe later in the show we can get your take on it. Like all of a sudden, present day, we are seeing expansion team success across a myriad of sports. And, here in San Diego, it's happening with San Diego FC. And I don't think it's a fluke. We had Darren on Wednesday, and he said, look, it's not just, what Coach Varas has done is pieced together a team that doesn't necessarily have to stand out name-wise on paper. Yeah, if you're, a fan of Liga MX or the Mexican national team, the Chucky Lozanos, or if you're San Diego faithful, Luca De La Torre or Elon. But at the end of the day, like, they're playing chess out here, and it's working. And what they did shorthanded against Vancouver, by the way, this is what we talked about, that high line. That high line absolutely destroyed Vancouver and their game plan in Columbus the week before. And then, they got abused in this match against San Diego FC. And like, if that's the blueprint for MLS team, San Diego FC not only is a true title tender, they might be the team to beat.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I think the key for San Diego FC as an expansion team, they're coming in with the eye of the tiger.
Yeah.
That hunger. Yeah. Like, everyone else is already here. We wanted more than you guys.
And we were talking about this the other day, Rifkin, like, there's been a whole change how you view expansion teams. It was always thought for years, this team, any team in any sport, be hockey, NBA, MLS, is going to be terrible for like 5 years before they could actually get something. The Golden Knights totally changed that in hockey. They went to the championship the first year, won it the second year. And now, we've seen, 2-3 months of play from this team. This is not a fluke. This isn't like the first week where, they beat LAFC. There was kind of a fluky goal. They turned it over on the back end there. This team is putting more shots on goal. The offense has totally got kind of come through recently, and it's exciting, man. It's cool seeing how the city is really, really kind of galvanized behind it.
Anything else?
Well, we're good. We're heading to the next segment. We got to talk about the Padres coming up next.
All right. Coming up next, we have a text I really want to address, and then we will talk about the Padres. Sorry, Sammy. I totally stepped on your teaser right there. Sammy Long might murder me during this commercial break, so maybe I'll be back.
No.
It is the Fletch Show. Marshall, Sammy, JRif sitting in. Happy to be with you. Happy Friday. Back in a moment. It's San Diego Sports 760. They are back on the pitch tomorrow night when they play at FC Dallas. You can hear the match live tomorrow night starting at 5 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760 and the iHeartRadio app. Your home for SDFC. JRif, Sammy Long, Marshall Thomas holding down the fort with you on Friday Fun Day. A texter comes in. You can text us at 70470. First word of the text team, TEAM. A 619 number says, I'm sorry, I don't see the difference between the Pac-12 and the Mountain West Conference. Can you please explain to me why the Pac-12 is better? If you're just joining us, we opened the show quickly discussing sort of the revitalized Pac-12 conference. They added their 8th football member, which makes them college football playoff eligible, inviting Texas State. They're expected to accept the invitation tomorrow. And of course, a couple of days ago, CBS announced as the primary rights holder of the conference. The reason that there's a separating point between the Mountain West and the Pac-12 and why San Diego State is better in this situation is for a couple of reasons. I'm going to quickly break this down, and then if you guys have any input, please cut me off. Feel free. Tell me to shut up. I'm all for it. TV revenues, obviously the biggest thing. The CBS deal gives 3 football games, 3 basketball games a year on CBS, not to mention the championship. The old Mountain West deal, you were getting about $4 million per school. That's mostly just for basketball and for football, and that isn't a baseline number. You get a little bit more for postseason appearances and how far you get. However, there's uncertainty beyond that number because it expires in 2026. Also, already I can guarantee you the Pac-12 is going to be more valuable per school for TV than $4 million. Gonzaga basketball right there is more valuable enough to every institution that they're going to be making probably that number just from having Gonzaga in the conference and how far Gonzaga could go year to year in the postseason. So there's value in that they're going to be making more from the TV deal. The college football playoff access is huge. The group of 6 now includes the Pac-12. They get 1 guaranteed playoff spot. Without 8 FBS teams, the Pac-12, they risk exclusion. And now the Texas State makes them playoff eligible. The Mountain West Conference is still competing for the same group of 6 spot, but the Pac-12 now has a better media alignment and growth potential, and they're more competitive. Not to mention in basketball, the net ranking is projected to be higher than the ACC and the Big East. That is really important. Sammy, go ahead.
Yeah, the in terms of basketball, I mean, this conference is going to be like legit. I mean, you have San Diego State, who's certainly become a top tier program in the last few years. Gonzaga, we all know what they've done over the years. The football, it creates relevancy in terms of just the brand of the Pac-12, even though it's not, we all know of SC, UCLA, and Oregon and Washington. That brings, kind of stigma to it, a positive stigma versus, I mean, we can all be honest, the Mountain West, outside of us being on the West Coast, I don't know how many people in Florida are really caring about the Mountain West, for being honest.
Wait, you're telling me that people in Tallahassee weren't staying up to watch Fresno State, Nevada?
I don't think they were.
Trent Rush was calling those games on Fox Sports. Come on now. What are we doing, Florida?
Well, I think in terms of San Diego State, it opens up recruiting, especially for football and basketball, in a big national way, because you can go to the East Coast and the South and say, hey, come over to San Diego. We're on the college football playoffs. We're in the Pac-12. The revenue money's here. It just helps out, I think, big time with recruiting.
And it's going to help by keeping some of these recruits in San Diego. Think about Chris Olave. He went to Ohio. Not that he was probably going to go to San Diego State, but San Diego State wasn't even the conversation to get Chris Olave or Julian Sayin, who ironically Julian's at Ohio State, Olave was, or some of these other names.
Or Rod Robinson, Mr. California out of Lincoln High School.
Out of Lincoln, or Achilles Smith Jr. out of Lincoln High School, right? Like there are Cartel Purvis out of at Modern Day Catholic. There are present names who are also good, who are going to schools outside of San Diego purely because the conference is better. But now that San Diego State is entering a different breadth of college football and college basketball, it's going to be even more attractive to retain in county talent, which is also very important.
And in terms of football, for years it's been to both of your guys' points, any top prospect at San Diego, they were going to SC first, UCLA, and Arizona State and Arizona will come over here and Oregon. So basically everyone else.
CJ Verdell.
Right. I mean, at San Diego State's getting the 6th pickings of everyone in San Diego, and that just shouldn't be how it is. And the Pac-12 certainly helps with that in terms of name brand. I'm excited for it. I think it creates a new buzz around the program. The basketball program's taking it to a new level, and the football program is improving. New coach last year and new stadium, so they should be able to get those kind of recruits that we all want here.
I think San Diego State should go back to their old school uniforms when Marshall Faulk played. I think they need a new vision, because nothing against it, but you need some new energy and a new uniform. because it's time for a fresh change, in my opinion.
I'm with you. Just kind of.
So you, Marshall, felt like, the coaching staff, like that's step one, and now the aesthetic is step number two.
Exactly, because it's a selling point. Look at, even starts with youth football and high school football. Look at the uniforms. We look good. It's a nice facilities. Okay, I want to go play for them. I want to look good, and so I can look good to feel good to play good.
Hey man, you're preaching to an Oregon Duck. I know what it means to have a nice uniform and how that attracts big recruits. Really quickly, just on the basketball point, over the last 5 seasons, projected net average ranking for the rebuilt Pac-12, better than the ACC, better than the Big East. The Pac-12 adds Gonzaga. That's 5 straight NCAA Sweet 16 appearances. San Diego State has 5 NCAA appearances in the last 7 years. The 2023 National Championship game appearance as well. The Mountain West net is so far below the net of the rebuilt Pac-12, it's laughable.
Totally.
So, I know that football runs everything, and we are going in our lifetime, the 3 of us, God willing, we're probably going to live at least a couple more years. We are going to see a super league of sorts with some of these top teams created. But basketball is going to be a part of that conversation. And you know what? San Diego State, I'm rooting for football. Get into the college football playoff. Go be the first group of 6 team to win it all. And by all means. However, basketball is going to keep them in the conversation, especially in this conference, to stay with the big dogs when this whole thing blows up.
We just got a text. If the Pac-12 becomes higher ranked than the ACC, do you guys think Stanford and Cal comes back to the Pac-12?
Absolutely.
That would be interesting in terms of football, because even though Stanford's been terrible the last, 5 years,
it's still Stanford.
It's still Stanford. And that's a program that did have a number 1 draft pick in Andrew Luck, went in on the famous beat USC as 35-point underdogs with Pete Carroll and everything. But that would be big. Having Washington State, that still is, even though it wasn't the top of the Pac-12, that's a recognizable name brand for football.
Oregon State, baseball, basketball. They've had some football success in recent years.
That's a great point, Sammy. I think they look at it. The CBS deal is there. Notoriety's there back with the Pac-12. Stanford and Cal definitely comes back.
So really quickly, I think it's an attractive idea, but really quickly. So Stanford and Cal left for the TV deal and the structure, not just for the performance of the ACC. Legal and financial barriers. There's an ACC grant of rights. I think they're locked in for at least 8 to 10 years, and they would have to pay a lot of money. Rumors coming out that Stanford and Cal, with the new NIL situation, are probably going to be cutting Olympic sports, which means they're probably not going to be in the market to buy themselves out of an ACC contract to get to the Pac-12. Geographically, obviously favors the Pac-12. My guess is short term, it's probably not going to happen because of the deal with the ACC. But in the long term, if the Pac-12 proves over 7 to 10 years that it is a top 3 basketball conference, we might see all the teams that left the Pac-12 come back.
Yeah, and they get tired of making those trips to Florida State across country.
Yep,
Friday night.
Exactly.
The logistics. That's why I think the ACC might give them go ahead and go back, because logistically, all those ACC teams, they don't want to come out to the West Coast, and none of their families are going to stay up late watching their sports.
Yeah, it's a great point. It's a fascinating situation. I don't know what's gonna and like I said, I think that all of what we see right now is a bridge. I think it's a bridge to something that's going to be way bigger, because unfortunately, we're in California. We have some of the most underfunded state schools, Division I state schools in the U.S. in terms of athletics. Sonoma State just had to cut all of its athletic programs. UCLA is rumored to be cutting sports because of the new NIL situation. The situation with state schools and sports in California is not good. And so what we're going to see is, as they get squeezed out, all this entire conversation is going to end up being probably somewhat pointless, because the entire landscape is going to change, where the heavy hitters who can afford it are going to stick together and move away from the NCAA. And then we're going to see these mid-majors and small major conferences come together, and they're going to separate. And I think that's the only way we're going to see college sports really survive on a grand scale in this country.
Completely agree. Yeah, totally.
It's sticky, man.
Do you think they go back to the Division I AA? Like, say there's Pac-12.
Dude, Marshall,
there's level A and level B of Pac-12.
I want promotion and relegation. Give me 1A, give me the championship, give me a subdivision, and give me promotion and relegation. And the teams that can get promoted get an NIL cash infusion, so they can actually have an opportunity to stay in the top flight. That's how I think that can work. Anyways. We did not talk about the Padres, but it was a really lively and fantastic conversation, and I'm grateful for everybody's contributions. A man who contributes more and more every time we talk to him. It's our best friend, NBC7 sports anchor Derek Togerson. He's on the other side. It's the Fledge Zone. It's a Friday. It's San Diego Sports 760. Oh, forget Derek Togerson. Let's just roll with this for the next segment. I need to get back into my classic rock.
You're a Queensrÿche guy?
Sorry?
I said you're a Queensrÿche guy?
I have moments. I've been listening to way too much hip hop lately. I need to switch it up. I've been riding.
Well, there's never enough hip hop. That's never.
I am exhausting Big X the Plug right now. It's so bad.
Big X the Plug.
He has a song called Law and Order, and it's another one, a generic rap, whatever. But the beat, it gets me every time.
First off, LiAngelo Ball has the best song called Law and Order.
I will never ever touch a LiAngelo Ball song.
No,
I will never.
He's actually a good rapper.
I don't care. I don't care.
You're missing out. I'm telling you, everyone like rips the guy, but he actually makes good songs.
Speaking of lively music and rapper conversations, not many people have more of a depth of knowledge of Eminem than the man we're about to bring on. It's not why we're bringing him on, but maybe we'll talk about a little bit of hip hop with this man. It's Derek Togerson from NBC7. DT, what's up, my man?
Hey, man, you're right. And also, by the way, if you want to do a workout playlist, you need to have a nice mix of hip hop and metal. Basically, if it's all angry, it's all good. So heavy on like Tech Nine. Rhymes, and then you got to throw in some Disturbed, Metallica,
Five Finger Death Punch.
Oh God, they're terrible.
Come on now. They have a great.
I'm with Togerson on that one. I'm not Five Finger.
About Marilyn Manson, The Beautiful People.
They do terrible covers of good songs.
Derek, it's great to hear from you. The Padres bullpen ranks top 3 in ERA, but Jason Adams. He's been used in nearly half of those games. How sustainable is this pace for the bullpen?
That's what we were talking about just this week, actually. I don't know. What's nice is they're getting some pieces back. Brian Hoey's going to eat a lot of those innings. You got Sean Reynolds they sent down to be able to give him a little break. He's a capable relief option. You're going to have to find a couple more guys. So that's a bit of an issue. But I mean, Jason Adams, his career he's been really resilient. He's not a max effort kind of guy. Like a guy who goes out there and every time he throws hard, it's giving everything he has. So he can be used more often. I'm a little concerned that it's like a 50% usage rate. That's maybe a bit much. But you also know that Mike Schultz not going to put a guy in there if a guy doesn't take and go. So I don't know. Estrada seems to go through some stretches where he gets tired. Suarez obviously goes through stretches where he gets tired. Morejon's been surprisingly more consistent than any point in his career. So your high leverage guys have been really good. People say they need another starting pitcher, and they do, but I could totally see AJ doing the same thing he did last year at the trade deadline. Go out with 3 really good relievers and make that bullpen even better going down the stretch. I think that might be the tack that he takes. To answer your original question, is this sustainable for a whole year? Probably not, unless you got a couple of the guys who step up to be able to handle some of those high leverage type innings.
Togerson, what do you think about the recent play of Iglesias, Bogarts, and Maldonado stepping up? Do you think this is sustainable, or do you think this is kind of a flash in the pan?
Maldonado has shown signs throughout his entire career. He's not sustainable offense. It's nice when he gives you something, but if you have him behind the plate, you have him behind the plate, not at the plate. Anything else he does is a total bonus. Iglesias' entire career has been a very capable clutch hitter. Last year, 100-something games with the Mets. He was a 20-something hitter, especially against left-handers. So I'm not surprised to see him having success right now. Xander Bogaerts should be doing more. And what I want to see from Xander, sometimes I'll come on here and say that I just want to see Fernando Tatis Jr. just snap on the ball and not swing so hard. I want to see Xander Bogaerts swing as hard as I tell Fernando Tatis Jr. not to swing. Because it looks like Xander went through such a stretch where he was just begging for a base hit. And he had some bad luck, some really bad hitting the ball, 105 off the bat right at somebody. He ran into some terrible luck. It looked like he was just trying so hard to get on base. He was like trying to steer the ball through the infield, almost like a Luis Arraez type swing, which is crazy because the guy's built like an NFL safety. I want to see him go out there and start trying to tear the cover off the ball a couple times, maybe get himself into some power numbers where he can start driving the ball a little more often. So I think that's in there. And right now it's all in his head that he's been trying so hard to help the team that he's gone away from his power game because he had such bad luck. But if he can maybe hit you 12, 13 homers in the second half of the year, then that would go a long way to him being back and maybe starting to get to the right track where he can make us believe he can justify that contract.
Hey, Derek, this is Marshall. I just want to know how important you think it is for Dylan Cease to start off this road trip, getting off the schneid with his first road win of the season.
It'd be nice. I mean, you're in Cincinnati. You're facing your old friend Nick Martinez. Again, remember, this is June. You're facing a team that is kind of right there, 500-ish. They're going to be in the wild card mix for a while. So more than anything, you got to win the series. And Dylan Cease is a guy who's shown that when he is on, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball. He's just been this Jekyll and Hyde guy this year. So if you get a really good start out of him, great. But I've also seen in this ballpark, the Padres bats tend to come alive in Cincinnati. Look at the recent history there. They have some big offensive games there. So it's not vital for him. If he goes out and gives up 5 runs in 5 innings, it wouldn't be as bad or look as bad as if the offense goes up there and scores 2 runs in 9 innings. That would be a bigger concern to me.
Lineups have shifted, Derek, over the last couple of weeks. Arise has been responding. We've seen some inconsistency from the rest of the big three. Merrill Tatis, Manny Machado, they were 0 for 10 the other day. How do you feel about the shakeup at the top of the order?
Yeah, tweak it, because you got guys who can hit in multiple spots. I think as long as you're letting the guys know what you're doing and why you're doing it, you're fine. If guys are showing up at the ballpark and all of a sudden Toddy looks up there and he's sitting fourth and there's no explanation for it and Schulte's not saying anything to him, that's when you start getting into players' heads. So as long as they're communicating about these kinds of things, trying to find the right mix that works, you could legitimately make an argument for all 4 of those guys hitting all 4 of those slots. So I really have no problem with it. Again, as long as it's being communicated to them that, hey, going to tweak some stuff. Let's see how you guys respond, and maybe we'll find a more permanent solution going forward. Because this is also very out of character for Mike Schilt. He's not a tinkerer. He doesn't like messing with the top of his lineup. He'll tinker with the bottom of the lineup. He likes having guys in roles at the top of his lineup. So the fact that he's doing this means he's got a very good reason for it. I guess he's probably letting the guys know what the reason is, and maybe they're all auditioning for whatever spot they get in the top 4. I'm waiting to see when he puts Manny in the leadoff spot. That'll be the fun one.
Togerson, what team in the wild card picture, we were talking about this earlier, makes you the most nervous for the Padres?
Ooh, it's a good question. I can't answer that now because I need to get through the season series. Because remember, you're talking about there's no playoff, there's no 163rd game anymore. So you're talking about the team that wins the season series is the team that wins the position. So maybe it'll be Cincinnati if Cincinnati takes 2 or 3 here. Maybe it's not going to be Milwaukee. Padres already won the season series against them. Maybe it's the Cubs, or the Cubs are going to run away with the National League Central. It's some of these. If I had to pick one, it might be the Giants, simply because they have played the Padres tough the last couple times they played them. And they just went out and got Rafael Devers. My big issue with the Giants was, and thinking they're not going to be sustainable, was who's their offensive star? Who's the guy who's going to carry them when they don't have a whole lot else in that lineup? And they go and found that Rafael Devers is that guy. So they're now a legitimate, viable club you're going to face several more times this year. And plus, they just always tend to play the Padres tough. So if I put a gun to my head and say right now who would be, it'd probably be San Francisco, even though the Padres right now lead the season series 4-2.
And I just have a quick statement about, I want to say 2016, 17. I met you with my son and my nephews at Family Fun Center over here in Claremont. You were there doing a story, had your cameraman, and I just want to say you left an impression on my kids. You were so cool, and I just want to say thank you again. And whenever I saw you or run into you, I wanted to mention that, and that was years ago. So thank you for being awesome when you didn't have to be.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. No, they believe me. Anytime there's kids around, man, I love just saying hi, shucking and jiving with them. That's really cool. They remember that. That makes me feel good. Thank you very much.
How come I don't get that same impression as Marshall's kids got from you, Derek? Where's that positive influence on me?
Because I met you after you were a college grad, therefore you're no longer a kid.
Oh, you know I'm still the child at heart. That's awesome.
No, this is very true. No, hey, I will say though, I do like, your jokes aside, I like when kids come into this business, and I'll call you a kid in this regard, and bust their tail to try and work. And you absolutely do that. I mean, you are all over the place, and I respect the heck out of your hustle. So, anytime I can offer a bit of advice or help you out somewhere, JRif, you know that it's automatically yes, because seriously, you are absolutely doing things the right way.
Derek, I love you. I appreciate that. I feel terrible for how I just responded because I was making a joke, and all of a sudden it turns into me getting validation. And now I feel imposter syndrome. Derek, you're the man. Appreciate you taking the time.
No problem, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you, Derek.
NBC7's Derek Togerson, truly one of the best. Marshall, that is an awesome story.
I told you all that positive vibe is rubbing off now, right?
It is. It's output, right? It's all output. That energy, you put it out there, it reverberates, and people bring it back. So I'm grateful to have been part of the moment that you shared that.
Thank you.
With Derek coming up next, Sammy, Marshall, and I, we're going to see if Marshall is as good at making you money as he is at showing his gratitude towards our great guests. It's the Long Shop coming up next. Clutch Show, San Diego Sports 760. Oh, are we entering the flesh zone or the fletch zone?
Number the G thing, baby.
Yeah.
It's always the flesh zone.
Dude, Marshall, I have a question for you, my man, because
Yes.
you and I have never officially met. This is like the most interesting first impression ever.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm coming off interestingly. You're coming off great. Do you know? So I hate, like, I'm a play-by-play broadcaster, obviously on the radio sometimes. I hate listening to myself.
Yes.
Like, do you know how amazing you sound?
I do not know. I
like-
do not
like-
like listening to myself. I
Seasoned
do.
pro right there.
Dude, you're like, the tone of your voice is incredible. I've had to try to stop myself from like going full parasympathetic and just like going into like a state of stasis from how relaxing your voice makes me.
I appreciate
Relaxing
that.
Yeah, man.
No, it means a lot. Thank you. I did public address announcing. That's what I've done for probably like 6 years now. I did it at the sports arena for the Strike Force, college
Nice.
football, basketball, do it all. But I do not like listening to my voice.
Rifkin,
Hey.
though, take him out to dinner first before you tell him his voice is relaxed.
No, dude, I gotta flirt a little bit before he accepts my
much
McDonald's
respect,
date.
JRif. Much respect.
I got you, brother. Hey, Strike Force, 1 win away from first place right now in the West of the IFL.
Shout out to Coach TG
dude, TG, my boy Patrick Kelly, one of the assistant coaches up there.
and Coach Boss Chief, the defensive coordinator.
They got institution, and they had to replace Nate Davis, who went down a couple of weeks ago, and Johnson, who also sells houses up in Carlsbad, has been
and Kendall Mooney as well. So my apologies.
Coach Mooney, former
Yes.
defensive coordinator down at Lincoln and
Mhm.
at Mount Miguel High School.
Yes.
Great staff. Shout out San Diego Strike Force. Not on Prize Picks. Maybe we should appeal for the Strike Force to get on Prize Picks.
Oh yeah.
But there are plenty of options on Prize Picks, and we're going to make you some money. Let's get to long shots.
Let's see. Underdogs? Nah, that's old. Those with a less than good chance of winning? Too wordy. Wait, got it. It's time for Sammy's long shots.
All right, we're making you some money for the weekend. It's a Flex Friday, so if you're not betting it, what are you doing? Because you get the money back. I mean, come on, guys. You know, you want a little bar money going into the weekend, all that good stuff. Got a lot of good stuff happening. We don't, usually it's just MLB and all that stuff. We got a big fight night this weekend, so here we're gonna do a little special today. I'm gonna give you 2 picks. I got a couple fight picks. Marshall's gonna give you a pick, and JRif's gonna give you a pick, and then whoever fails is gonna get roasted on X. Okay, and make sure to tag them mercilessly over the weekend. Okay, for everyone listening, because we don't want to mess around with your money.
Thank God I'm going out of town. I'm turning X off.
Are you bringing your phone out of town?
Yeah, but
Then he'll see it.
I'm praying that Canada blocks X by the time I get there.
Okay. All right. I'm first pick of the night. Ilya Taporia fighting Charles Oliveira, UFC main event tomorrow night. Going to be a really fun fight. Charles Oliveira, we know what he wants to do. He wants to get to the mat. He wants to wrestle. Taporia's got that power. He's fun. He could be an excellent boxer if he went down that road. We saw what he did to Volkanovski. I mean, a guy who has been thought of as one of the toughest chins in all of boxing and the UFC. Took him out in the 5th round. He kind of showed he was defensively responsible against Josh Emmett. So I think Taporia is going to win this fight. But our pick is fight time minutes. So that's at 9. We're going to go over. Everyone's predicting that he's going to knock him out early. But the thing is, he's only had 1 fight at this weight class. And Oliveira is a very skilled fighter, even though he's a plus 350 dog. I think it's going to take him a minute. I do think he gets the knockout, but I think that's going to come in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th round. I think people are getting a little too trigger happy on just going with the first round knockout. So we're going to go more than 9 fight time minutes for Ilya Taporia and Charles Oliveira. My second pick of the night, Jake Paul. If you're into the circus, Jake Paul's fighting this weekend against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. There's been a lot of criticism. Jake Paul doesn't fight real boxers, and then when he does, he fights an old Mike Tyson who's literally 59 years old. And that was a BS fight. That fight was stupid. Everyone watched that. That was ridiculous.
I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch it? Well, you
Nope.
actually saved yourself because it was pretty pathetic.
Good
But
foresight.
Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. was a real fighter. Now, he's not his dad, one of the greatest fighters of all time, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., but he did fight Canelo. He did win a world title at middleweight. So this is technically a boxer. He's 46 years old. Now, he beat Anderson Silva a couple years ago in a match and then got roughed up last time. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go Jake Paul over 97.5 total punches landed. This is why I'm going over on this. I think this fight goes the distance. Jake Paul, to his credit, even though I'm not a Jake Paul supporter and a lot of people aren't, he has gotten better as a boxer. And his footwork's gotten a lot better over the last couple fights. He does have a lot of power in his right hand. He's developed the left hook. But Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. being a veteran fighter, I think he's going to be able to evade that for a while. Going to give him some tricks out of the bag, do a lot of stab jabs to the body, keep Jake Paul at bay. But I think in the later rounds, he comes and gets him. I don't know if there's a knockout to 10-round fight, but I think Jake Paul pours on the output later on and eclipses 97.5 total punches landed. Marshall, what pick you got?
I got Cubs Cade Horton over 4 strikeouts. He struck out at least 5 batters in over half of his starts, and the Astros are prone to a lot of strikeouts. So I got Cade Horton from the Cubs over 4 strikeouts today.
Beautiful. We love that. Rifkin, what you got?
Yeah, brother. Give me Paige Beckers. They're playing the Indiana Fever. We got the Dallas Wings against the Indiana Fever, 4:30 this afternoon. I don't know what else you're doing with your time because this is going to be fun. This is the future of the sport. 2 fantastic players who really revolutionized the college game going head to head. Paige has been shouldering the offensive load for Dallas. I'm taking her more than 15 field goals attempted. More than 15 field goals attempted. She's averaging 17 field goals attempt per game over her last 5 games. She's averaging 18 points per game in that span. They're playing Caitlin Clark. How special would it be for a 2-win Dallas Wings team to take on the Fever on a Friday night in primetime on the East Coast, get the win, and Paige Beckers, the number 1 pick in the WNBA draft, is the hero of the game. I'm taking Paige over more than 15 field goals attempted.
Beautiful. All right, just to recap for anyone who had just tuned in, Ilya Taporia, more than 9 fight time minutes versus Charles Oliveira. Jake Paul, more than 97.5 total punches landed. Paige Beckers, more than 15 field goals attempted. And Cade Horton, more than 4 pitcher strikeouts. Just to reiterate, Marshall's pick is Cade Horton, JRif's is Paige Beckers, and I'm Jake Paul and Ilya Taporia. So feel free, again, if this doesn't hit, if the parlay gets sold tonight, because we're going to know if Beckers or a Horton hit tonight, feel free. Make fun of us on social media. I'm sure JRif will really enjoy that on his vacation.
I am going to Montreal on Sunday. If you have recommendations, please hit me up. I'm also going to go back city in Tahoe. So always happy for that. Maybe we'll attach our tickets to the recommendations. Text us 70470 first with the text team TEAM. Hour number 2, your opportunity to win Billy Idol tickets. We're also going to chat with Steve Hartman. But coming up next, SDFC, Pretenders, Contenders. We're going to answer that question in hour number 2. Coming up next, Fletch Zone on San Diego Sports 760.
This sport is sponsored by Rapid Radios. Padres in Cincinnati for a 3-game set against the Reds. That game gets going at 4:10. Dylan Cease will be on the mound for the Padres, while Nick Martinez will be going for the Reds. The run line is currently set at 7.5. The Padres are favored by -150. The Lake Show traded up to the number 36 pick last night to land Adu Thiero out of Arkansas. He previously played at Kentucky and followed Calipari there. They're expecting him to be an elite 3 and D player for them. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com. You'll get an extra 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio, get an extra 5% off. I think we're having some audio issues with Rifkin. So
I'm here. I forgot to press the unmute button. That is my bad. I apologize. Maybe some people wanted me to keep the unmute button locked on.
No, we need you locked in, JRif. We need you, brother.
I was going to say, Marshall was probably, after the voice compliment, it's like, maybe I need to talk a little bit more on this show. And I wouldn't blame you, brother.
No way.
So listen, guys, San Diego Sports 760 has 9 chances for you to win $1,000 every weekday with the bonus bucks giveaway. Listen for the keyword, then enter it at sportsst.com. That's sportsst.com. Next chance to win $1,000 coming up next on San Diego Sports 760. It's been interesting this year. Every once in a while, guys, we look across the sports landscape and there's teams that stand out, even if you're a casual fan and you're just sort of like in and out of certain sports. And, you know, that team that stands out, it skips that whole wait your turn process because we all like to follow new teams, right? Utah Hockey Club, I'm sure you guys were in and out of following that. The Golden State Valkyrie. The NBA is going to be adding expansion teams. The MLB is going to be adding expansion teams. And here in San Diego, guess what? We have a team that is skipping the wait your turn process. They're not just crawling. They're not just limping through year one. They're showing up swinging, and that's SDFC right now. First place in the West, 3 MLS All-Stars, which was officially announced yesterday, a roster built to win, an explosive loan of a kid from Escondido, Milan Olaski, who has stamped his name into the history books with the fastest 4 goals MLS has ever seen. 4 goals in 12 minutes, 9 goals in just under 300 minutes. That's absurd. Video game type stuff. When I play EAFC, when I turn my sliders all the way up, I still can't even hit those numbers. And it's happening right here in San Diego. But it isn't just about one game or one player. You got Anders Dreyer leading the MLS in assists, 8 goals to his name, an MVP candidate. You've got Chucky Lozano, global star, World Cup pedigree, still rounding into form, but already showing flashes of what he can be when fully healthy. And of course, you have that back line and just how stout they have been, how steady they've been, allowing that build-up to play into the attacking third. And this shouldn't come as a surprise to us because this is how the expansion era has been. Vegas Golden Knights, Stanley Cup playoff champs, LAFC, immediately contending for MLS Cup championships right out the gate. St. Louis City last year, first team, top of the conference, the old rule book that you have to struggle for 5 years and then you matter. That's done. Spend right, scout right, build right, and you can win now. San Diego FC isn't just sneaking up, or they're not sneaking up on anybody. They're first in the West. It was a statement win against Vancouver. 3 All-Stars, a front line that can break you open in a heartbeat. So the question, and I'll throw it to you guys now, and Marshall will start with you. Is this just for fun, or is this just us having fun? Are we overachieving this and being facetious about this expansion story? Or is San Diego FC truly built to potentially win the MLS Cup this year?
Oh, this is definitely not a fluke, and it's not for fun. They set the tone winning at home, I think, earlier in the season against the rival LAFC. Huge home win against the rivals. And then with the friendly with Club America, I was at that match. First time I've ever went to a soccer match, other than obviously high school, but that was an amazing atmosphere. And the way San Diego won, I know that the Club America didn't have all their players, and we don't have all our players, but every time they've been tested all season, they've rose to the top and faced that adversity. And going on the road again at Vancouver, phenomenal win and a statement win for the franchise as an expansion team.
Yeah, no, it's I think it's legit. I mean, we keep going back to this is 3 months in, they're still winning. And you look at Vegas tells you a lot. Vegas has a way of knowing things that maybe they take bias out. They go right down the middle. I mean, I know Dallas is some great team. They've lost the last couple of games, had some draws, but they're currently plus 110 to win this game. And that going into Vancouver, SCFC was only a slight dog, even though, Vegas. So that kind of respect of Vegas is, even though in Vancouver, they were atop the table on the Western side. And yeah, it's, I mean, I think we just need to re-look at how we view expansion teams. But in the past, it was always kind of, it's going to be 5 years, it's going to be science 10 years. And it's just cool that the city's really galvanized behind it, having gone to a couple matches. I mean, it's stoked how it's selling out. The chants are there from game one. And it's exciting, man. I mean, hey, maybe SDFC's bringing his first title to San Diego.
One thing I did like, I'm not with the violence, but when the LA Galaxy, I think, came here, it was the LA team.
I was at that game. It was Galaxy, yeah.
So
I saw you in the middle.
I didn't realize. I saw some videos on social media. It was even more intense than, what the news showed. But, San Diego's love their teams. It's like LA loves their team. Everyone supports their teams. But being at home, protecting your house, and then standing up, hey, we're San Diego. We're not scared of anyone. I like that energy that San Diego FC has.
Right. We love the passion. Maybe just learn how to regulate.
Mike's off again, JRif.
Right. It's sorry, I was just letting you guys have the floor. Again, some people out there are happy about that. And Marshall, that's the right point, right? There's a lot of passion and vigor behind this fan base. It's just about making sure that you can regulate it in a non-violent way. But the passion is, that's the part that you take away from that as a positive, and I completely agree. Like, it is becoming unparalleled. And man, Sammy, you made such a good point, and that's exactly where I want to take this.
What if San Diego FC brings San Diego's championship? If you're the Padres, man. If you're the Padres, right? The Padres, the Peter Seidler passing was horrible, right? And in 2022, when they traded for Juan Soto, at the time we validated the trade. We sit here and we can go through all. I know John and Jim did this whole thing. It has been all over Instagram and my ex for the last few days about like, the Juan Soto Nationals storylines. It doesn't matter. Like they tried, and then the Peter Seidler passing was terrible. And then you have this tumultuous takeover by his brothers, and they ousted his wife as the controlling partner. So you have this tumultuous ownership situation. You have a team that's overperforming that nobody really believes is a contender right now in the NL West. Meanwhile, you have a brand new professional sports team in the same city that people saw as tier 2. That is not only proven that they're a tier 1 sports team in the city, but they actually could bring San Diego's first championship. If I'm the Padres right now, Number one, I know that Manny Machado has part ownership in this team, and they've done a very good job of getting some of the players to SDFC and some of the collabs. I don't think the Padres really have done enough to show that they truly support San Diego FC as a franchise in San Diego. But boy, what a statement that would be if you're San Diego FC to win the cup and bring a championship to San Diego this year.
No, and I think it's extremely realistic. Yeah, it's on the Padres side, it definitely feels like you went all in, and this team, could be a couple pieces away. I mean, it's tough. Right now, I'm with you, JRif. I don't think they have enough to go win a World Series. I think you saw that when they played the Dodgers over a couple weeks. But yeah, I mean, I think what's cool with the SDFC narrative is that there was kind of this narrative put out there when the Chargers left that San Diego doesn't care about its teams nationally. That was kind of a narrative that was floated out there. Mm-hmm. And San Diego has completely pushed back on that, whether that be the Padres selling out constantly or SDFC, people really galvanizing the team. Viejas is always rocking, whether it's a Monday, Tuesday night, whatever it is. I think San Diego's really pushed back on that. And it's just cool because it, reps the city, and, we love our sports down here.
I just want to shout out the Dago boys, the fans for SDFC. They're called Dago boys, sitting behind the goal. They wave their flags, that One Love Bob Marley flag. Again, the first match I seen, they were so intense from the parking lot into the match. That feeds, I think, the energy of the players, and all the watch parties, all the things I see on social, all the positive energy with this soccer club. I believe it's a real special season, and if they win this championship before the formerly known as the San Diego Chargers of Los Angeles and the San Diego Padres, that will be epic for us.
We know the Chargers ain't winning no damn championship this year. So,
guys, you know I'm a Herbert fan. Don't do this to me.
Hey, it's not about JRif. It's about the fact that you get him receivers.
Look, man, at the end of the day, I just wherever he is, I'm a fan of it.
It just sucks as the Chargers. That means I have to be a fan of the Chargers. And when I go on radio in San Diego, it never bodes well for me. San Diego FC, they are back tomorrow on the pitch. when they play at FC Dallas. You can hear the match live tomorrow night, starting at 5 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760, your home for STFC. Without further ado, hour number 2, Big 3. Let's get it going.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
Are we implying that friends can't be coworkers?
What?
Because Big Voice guy was like sarcastically like your friends. I mean, are we implying that your coworkers?
No. They're saying that you want to go back there, and hopefully we give you a little something that you can. Maybe you disagree with us, but you can go back and throw it in your coworker's face to show how much better you are than them. That's the motto of the segment.
Fair. I appreciate you bringing me up to speed. Thank you.
All right, let's go to the NBA. Ace Bailey drafted number 5 to the Jazz. Coming down today, he hasn't even been to the Jazz facility. Now, for those who don't know, anytime you get drafted, whether it be the NFL, NBA, usually they fly directly after they get picked to that city. They kind of have a watch party. Ace Bailey hasn't shown up. His representation said he's going to be there Monday for the Summer League, but he's making it very clear he doesn't want to be there. LaMelo Ball and him be going back a little bit back and forth on Instagram. What are your thoughts on this whole situation?
I think that he should have learned how Shedeur Sanders handled himself prior to the draft.
Good point.
And now all of this karma is coming back saying, I don't have to work out for anybody. You're not LeBron. You're not Jordan coming out of college. No disrespect to Ace Bailey. I know he's a quality player, but someone gave him some bad advice. And I think now the karma's coming back to him. Now he'll have a bullseye from everybody, all fans across the board, not rooting for him, wanting him to fail.
Rifkin, what you think?
Yeah, I mean, he definitely alienates himself in the situation. The part that I have a real problem with is just like you're taking the fact that you got drafted for granted. Like you are in a position that, like, I mean, look, dude, when I was in middle school and I was hooping, I had hoop dreams, but of course, like, that is a silly, I was like, all of us, like, at some point, we all thought, I was looking at 6th grade, I was like, oh, maybe I'll go to Marquette for basketball. Of course not. But, like, this guy got there. This guy is in the 0.01% of athletes in the world. This guy is in the 0.001% of basketball athletes in the NCAA. He got drafted top 5, which less than 1% of all NBA players ever get the opportunity of doing. And you're so disrespectful, and you're taking it so vehemently for granted. It is unfair. It's setting a bad example, and I think he should be fired because if any of us did this in our day jobs, then we would be cut, and we would never hear a peep from them again. Sorry, Ace Bailey. I root for success. I hope that you go out there and you win me back, but right now, this is a terrible start of your career.
See, I got a totally different take than both of you. I have no problem with it. I think he should be able to do whatever he wants to do. And I hear the point about Shedeur Sanders, and I get that, the fact that you saw him fall all the way to the 5th round. But at the end of the day, it is his prerogative. If he said, I don't care that
they're paying him, he has a contract.
He's going to be there. That's a different thing about him not showing up. But in terms of him being like, I don't want to be a part of the Jazz, hell, if I wouldn't want to be going to Utah either. And if he wants to fall picks in the draft because he wants to, he puts a target on his back. People are going to be doing the Lonzo thing where the second his daddy was running his mouth. So Patrick Beverley, the first game against the Lakers, punks him, drops him on the floor. That's going to be happening in the NBA. But at the end of the day, if Ace Bailey wants that and he thinks it's better for his career, then it's Ace Bailey's prerogative.
Ace Bailey should go look at and realize that Salt Lake City is the fastest growing market in the U.S. right now. That Delta's adding international flights, and that maybe it's not that bad.
I would be like anywhere but Salt Lake City.
Nah, dude. There's some nice burbs. Park City. Get out of here. That guy could afford like a penthouse at the Fairmont in Park City. He should not be complaining.
I'm a SoCal kid. I'd be trying to force my way to the lake show. Exactly. But all right, quickly, we're running out of time here. But okay, Jake Paul is fighting this weekend. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Do you like what he's done for the sport? Do you like Jake Paul for what he's done for promotion, getting women's boxing kind of going and selling himself, or do you think he's insufferable?
I like the promotion part, that he's giving other people a platform on the undercard, but what he's doing is ridiculous. It's a disrespect because he's choosing to fight over, people that are not his size at the beginning and older boxers. He will never fight anybody in the top 10 of cruiserweight right now that's belt holders. He doesn't want any part of those guys. So I think it's all for show. I think they're going to play around just to make some money. But when he fights a legit boxer his age that's trained in the top 10 and he beats them, then I'll give him his respect.
But to see, I'm asking this purely out of ignorance. But like, does he advertise himself as part of that group of elite boxers?
Yeah.
Okay. He says that he beat the baddest man on the planet when he beat 60-year-old Mike Tyson.
Well, he wants to fight Canelo Alvarez, which I think we'd all love to see because Canelo would beat him in 10 seconds. But in terms of Jake Paul, I really agree with what you said, Marshall. Yes, it's cool. He has given a blueprint for how to promote yourself. In boxing, for so long, has been split with individual promoters. That's why it's cool. Turkey Al-Sheikh and Dana White getting together to promote Crawford and Canelo. And it's hurt boxing because the best fights haven't happened because guys go, well, I'm going to fight in my own promotion because I can make all the money versus splitting it with another promotion, Top Rank, PBC, Golden Boy, all that kind of stuff. So I respect Jake Paul in that. And I do respect Jake Paul in the fact that he trains. He takes it seriously. He's not like Logan Paul and some of these other guys. It's like, this is clearly a joke. He doesn't care about any of this. Now, do I like Jake Paul? Not really. And to Marshall's point, if you want to claim that you're the baddest man on the planet, that you want to be these guys, you got to fight real boxers. And I get it that a lot of big time boxers come up and fight in amateurs, and he being a celebrity, he has to make events that he doesn't have the ability to just fight some no-name scrub and sell pay-per-view. So he's got to make events against old aging fighters. But don't get on here and beat a 6-year-old Mike Tyson and a Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. who's 47 years old coming off a loss and come up to the ring and talk about how you're a superstar. No, you need to fight a real boxer. I mean, he's getting ranked in the cruiserweight rankings if he wins this fight, which is beyond me. We can do third one on the other side.
All right. Coming up next, the third of the big three. Also, Steve Hartman in the bottom of the hour, and then we'll wrap things up, taking you to John and Jim. They're on from 2 to 6. It is the Fletch Zone. The Fletch Zone was yesterday. If you're looking for the Fletch Zone, hit up Big Rich TD and Fletch on Instagram or Twitter, but this is the Fletch Zone.
It's the new name of the show, JRif.
Don't invite me if that's the new name of the show. I want no part in that. JRif, Marshall Thomas, Sammy Long taking you the distance at San Diego Sports 760. Hi.
You got
It's the only way to get through it.
Do you like our new sushi bag?
I love your new sushi bag. Oh, that's the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick, Sammy.
How's it been going?
It's good. Going back up. How's the gym? You were there for a while.
Yeah.
Did you work out?
It was good. I was like taking, big breaks.
Yeah.
But could you put sunscreen on me before I go? Yeah, my back. Yeah, I know. I'll get it ready right now. I thought you were yelling at like one of your interviewers.
No, but Sammy was like, no, he's allowed to do this. They were like, no, he's not. He's an employee.
At first I thought you were talking to Drew, and I thought you were telling Drew that he took advantage, of being in the NFL or something.
What?
I don't know why I thought that. It's like where my first thought.
It's very back right now. It's gonna be cold.
It ends at 2, right?
Huh?
2?
2?
Is that when it ends?
Yeah, but then Jonah's gonna be. I need to figure out food also. I might order something.
Huh?
I might order lunch or something. I'm not that hungry.
Order it. Just get some.
I guess.
Yeah.
We have all that money in Uber Eats.
I know, but we have plenty of food.
I didn't use it at all when you were gone.
I know, but we
I
have
know,
a lot of
I
food that went to
know,
waste.
I know.
We gotta use what we have.
I know. All right, go to the.
Do you want me to take out this trash before I go down? Because I'm gonna be at the pool probably before Jonah gets here.
Yeah, but that's fine. I'll also have to go get on to get him. So either way,
Okay.
I can take. Or if you take
I'll
the
take one right
take
now.
the trash above, and I'll take the bags.
Well, I think we can fit more in the bag. I'll take one of them.
Taking you up to John and Jim. Ringing out of eardrums across San Diego and beyond at San Diego Sports 760, the Fletch Zone. JRif filling in. Big thanks to Marshall Thomas for joining us here today. Of course, Sammy Long, you hear him every day here on the Fletch Zone. Yesterday, you heard him on the Fletch Zone. Actually, Sammy, funny enough, you said something yesterday, and it spurred on an idea that I want to pitch you really quickly. And Marshall, maybe as an independent third party, you can be the final say on this pitch.
Gotcha.
So I don't know how much, Marshall, you watched of yesterday's show or listened. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend going back on YouTube or on X and watching it. If you haven't listened to it, you can find it on sports.c.com and the iHeartRadio app, the new updated iHeartRadio app. That is incredible. But they're, Big Rich and TD, they're very poetic and philosophical, but it's about out of pocket things. And they open up the show with this, it felt like I was walking into a very uncomfortable massage appointment. Sammy can elaborate maybe on the vibes that they were saying.
Yesterday we were trying to get endorsement with a sex shop. That's basically what the motto of the show was.
How'd that go?
We haven't heard back yet. But we're still waiting. We're gonna go pitch it. Rich is a very sexy man. So we're trying to get some endorsements there. But yeah, we started off. Travis Dale is a very sensual man. So we started out with some low mood music, and some people might have not liked it. Some people did like it, but it just depends where you go with your mind.
You have to be. I would venture you would have to be probably 70% open minded to enjoy that.
Yeah, definitely. And you need to get me on there to say you're now welcome to the Flesh Show.
That's what I'm saying.
Marshall would have been a phenomenal ad yesterday.
Trademark. So, dude, big voice guy might have some competition.
The Flesh Show.
Dude, that's what. See, Travis Dale sends me in the morning yesterday. He goes, "Hey, I made up a graphic for today's show." I was like, "Great." He goes, "Do you want to see it?" I go, "Yeah."
Oh no.
And he sent it to me, and then I posted it out on the 760 account, and I had to walk into our program director Mary Ayala's office. Go, if I put this out, will we get fired? She goes, "No, I think you'll be fine." It's like, all right, cool, we'll put it out.
Wait, our program director, who's one of the best in the business, said, "I think you'll be fine."
She said you should be fine. So we took that.
Isn't she the one who makes the decision?
Yeah.
Shouldn't she know what's?
And then
she was really letting you toe the line.
Yeah, she said, "I think you'll be fine." I go, "Okay, cool. Well, we'll do it." And then some of the big bosses came in. We're like, "Oh, whoops!" But
mistakes were made.
We're still here today. So
out of the chaos, grew a diamond. So listen. Here's the idea. So yesterday you guys were talking about all this different stuff, and Sammy, I think it was somewhat in passing, but Rich laughed. You're like, you only Fletch or something. That's what you called the show. It was like Only Fletch, right?
Onlyfletch.com. I
thought that you should actually take that idea and turn it into a social media segment. I don't know if you guys in text line, help me out here, 70470, first one of the text team. I want to siphon this out. This is free, by the way. I don't know the next time I'm going to be on the show. I'm going out of town for basically all of July. Like, you guys take this free of charge. If you get it sponsored, keep the money. Just know that you owe everything to me. So Fletch is very unique. Marshall, I'm sure you've had your tidings with Ben Fletcher before.
Yes.
It doesn't
shout out Ben Fletch.
You don't need to spend a significant amount of time to know the uniqueness of this human being. So why not have people pay to watch him, Sammy? Just watch him go about his day. So there's this Airbnb service in Japan.
What, him napping?
Well, so there's an Airbnb service in Japan that streams you 24/7. The only time it doesn't stream you is when you're in the bathroom, and people literally pay like $10 a day to watch it. It's just anybody, some random person just going about their business. And I'm like, dude, Only Fletch would sell hundreds. Because Fletch is such a different human being.
And I think we should call it As the Fletch Turns.
As the Fletch Turns. Maybe Fletcher could sell his bathwater like Sydney Sweeney. And they could see who sells more. I don't know who would sell more, but we'll leave that up to the public.
All right. Anyways, that's my pitch, free of charge. Make sure he keeps his pants on, though. I think that's the only requirement.
Yeah, I don't think people want to see that. You know what I mean? The pants off. Just we love Ben Fletcher, but that's not. We got to know our strengths and weaknesses, and that's not a strength for him. But maybe, who knows?
A person that you would pay to listen to, but we're going to bring him to you free of charge. Steve Hartman, the legend, a man that I grew up getting to know on my airwaves, and now I have the pleasure to interview right here on this program. He's Sammy's uncle. He's our great friend, Steve Hartman, on the other side, joining us. It's the Fletch Zone on San Diego Sports 760.
This sport is sponsored by Pala Casino. Padres back for 3-game set against the Cincinnati Reds. Going on, Dylan Cease will be pitching for the Padres, while Nick Martinez will be going for the Reds. The Reds currently half game back of the Padres in the NL West. And the NBA draft wrapped up. Cooper Flagg just landed down in Dallas after going number 1 to the Dallas Mavericks. And Kyrie Irving signed a 3-year, $119 million extension. Los Only Boys performing live at Pala Casino's Starlight Theater on Friday, July 18th at 8 p.m. Tonight, a rock, roots, and rhythm you won't want to miss. Get your tickets now at palacasino.com. Pala Casino is just 10 minutes east of the I-15 and Highway 76.
Bottom of the hour, JRif, Marshall Thomas, Sammy Long with you here. Fletch is gallivanting on the western shores of Lake Tahoe. So we are traversing the plains of the airwaves on his own show. Steve Hartman, a gentleman who there are 2 people in this world who are allowed to talk to me before 6 a.m. My girlfriend and this man right here, Steve Hartman. Endless stories. He's my former neighbor in the 805, and it's a pleasure to have him join us here on San Diego Sports 760. Steve, it's been a long time, man.
It has been. I can't believe it. I mean, it's been a sort of a reunion of sorts with everybody, with Fletch and Sammy, and now like the gang's all here. And so I am very excited once again to be on the airways in beautiful San Diego. I miss it. I desperately miss it. I was unceremoniously, that's right, I retired. I remember that was the company line. I retired from San Diego because of the commute back and forth. So it's always good to be back on.
Steve, how was date night this week? We haven't got an update in the last few weeks. The text line wants to know.
Phenomenal. Chew it and do it. I'm telling you, the thing about it is, guys, and you'll find this out in many, 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 many years down the road, is that you always think to yourself, like, does your mindset change? Right? I mean, do you think the same way when you're 60 as when you're 20? And the answer is, in my case, my thought process has never changed at all. And now I'm closer to 70 than 60. So nothing about the way I look at the world, think about the world, what preoccupies my mind changes ever. I had a grandfather that lived to be 97 years old, and he sort of made it clear. I introduced him to my then girlfriend, my future ex-wife, and I remember him. He was in his mid 90s, and he's an old man. He's sitting there. He's still sharp. And then she left the room for a second. He grabbed my arm. He looked at me and gave me the thumbs up, like, "Yeah, oh yeah, that's good. I like it." So. None of this changes. None of this changes. At least it shouldn't. I feel bad for guys where it does change, but no, nothing changes.
Uncle Steve, we're all trying to be you.
What's that?
I said we're all trying to be you.
Well, I want you to continue to strive to. Here's what you do. You hang on to the things that are good and you eliminate the things. Life is about trial and error, right? I mean, you try things. That's all normal, right? But once you deem something as like, it's not my thing, eliminate it. Just get rid of the riffraff, focus on what it is you like most, and then live out your days that way. It's perfect.
Love the positive energy, Steve. This is Marshall Thomas. Pleasure to be on with you. I wanted to ask what your thoughts on how Ace Bailey from the Utah Jazz getting drafted and not wanting to show up and not working out for any of the teams.
What's amazing to me about this whole draft? First of all, guys, has there ever been a more anonymous NBA draft ever?
Thank God.
I mean, you got Cooper, Flagg, and then okay. So let's take a look at this, right? So you have Harper and you got Bailey. These guys going into last year were rated behind Flagg as the number 2 and 3 recruits in the country, and they both go to Rutgers. And they proceed to be on a team that has a losing record. The number 2 and number 3 recruits in the country go to Rutgers, of all places, and lead them to a losing record. So as far as Bailey is concerned, or Harper, or honestly, anyone in this draft not named Cooper Flagg, if any of the rest of this draft, the other 59 players draft, emerge as so much as a top level starter, I'm not even going to say all-star. There's no all-stars coming out of this draft other than the guy at the top of the draft. I just can't imagine a more anonymous draft. Think about this. The top 8 picks in this draft were all one and done freshmen. If you look at the listing of the top rated high school players going into last year, you'll see the exact same 8 names. I don't know. Did I see any of these guys excel to show up on any All-American list? No. So I don't understand what the NBA is doing right now. You wonder why overall the NBA is an underachieving league. Again, look at the draft. Look at this anonymous draft. This is easily the most anonymous draft ever. So as far as Bailey not showing up, does it really even matter? I don't think Bailey's going to be an impact in this league, no matter what team he was on. You know, he goes to a team that didn't even work him out. So to me, the NBA's got so many problems, but as long as all that big money is coming out of China and pouring into this league, they don't have to worry about it. They will be able to support the players. You know, now you got a deal with Shai Gilgeous where he's going to be paid over $70 million a year. By the time the Lakers get their contract done with Doncic, last year that deal is going to be in excess of $80 million.
Steve Hartman joining us here.
Ratings. How much buzz is there for the NBA, guys? Seriously, how much buzz? And I have a son in your guys' age bracket. Sammy knows. My son Garrett is 27. He's a huge diehard NBA fan. But even he has to concede. You know, he feels like he's in no man's land. It's just like the end of the NBA season means we're one day closer to the start of the NFL season.
It's an unfortunate but true point, and it's going to take some time before that we sort of hit the parity with the NBA and how it's starting to attract its younger fan base. But Steve Hartman joining us here on San Diego Sports 760. Steve, Michael Jordan's rookie card just sold for $2.5 million at auction. I'm curious, if I had a 1996 Steve Hartman UCLA Bruins radio color analyst card, how much could I sell that for at auction?
Well, first of all, there are cards. If you can find a Steve Hartman card from our old days at 690, we had cards, guys. You can see them on eBay. The 690 cards of me and Jim Rome and Chet Forty and Hacksaw, the whole gang from back in the day. And I've seen some of those cards go for, wow, I mean, $5, $6, maybe 10 if they're autographed. We used to autograph a lot of cards. But can you imagine back in the day they actually made trading cards of us? How cool was that? We had merchandise in those days. Like we had actually hats and shirts, and we even had a contest where, you know, we were the Loose Cannons, and we actually had a contest to design a Loose Cannon logo, which was then converted into a logo to put on T-shirts and was all over San Diego. So any of your listeners that are old enough to remember the heyday, I mean, this was at where it is. Now, as far as the UCLA thing is concerned, it was my one and only. I did sidelines in 95, and I was in the booth in 96. And to show you how long ago it was, that season we opened the year against the University of Tennessee. It was Peyton Manning's junior year. They had just expanded Neyland Stadium to over 100,000 fans. Every fan was wearing a number 16 jersey. He got no money out of that. But even Crater guys, 2 weeks later, we're in the big house to play Michigan, right? UCLA is losing 38-3, and they bring in some freshman scrub to, like, you know, just the mop-up duty. He comes in for Michigan, throws one pass. It's a pick six the other way. UCLA's only touchdown. That guy who made his debut that day, and I was there, was Tom Brady. That was his first pass as a college quarterback, and I was there. And I have the credential from that game. Think it has any value?
Oh, for sure. If you sign it, I mean, it might devalue it a little bit more, but there's definitely value for it, Steve. Really quickly on that year 96, you were nominated. You were a finalist for Best Radio Analyst in the Southern California Broadcast Association. Do you remember who you lost to?
Oh, yes. I remember it was like yesterday. There were 3 finals. So that's the way the categories work all these years. I won a bunch of awards, not for radio. I was part of the TV team at Channel 2. We won a number of times. I didn't get one. They only had one award. Jim Hill took all the awards. But that award, I was up against Stu Lance of the Lakers, and I was up against Mike Lamb, who was the color analyst for USC football. And I fully expected Stu Lance to win, and they gave it to Mike Lamb, who, by the way, is a friend of mine, but I almost threw up when I found that Mike Lamb beat me out for best color analyst. So it was my one opportunity in that category. By the way, I was nominated many times for best talk show host, and I'm finalist, and I never won.
Well, Steve, I would have voted for you, but
Thank you.
In the we were talking about this the other day with NFL. What quarterback next year, heading into the season, do you think has the most pressure to get over the hump and win a title?
Oh, it has to be Josh Allen. I mean, you could talk about Lamar Jackson, but I think that Josh Allen, I think the perception is that Buffalo has an easier ride in the AFC East to at least get to the AFC Championship game. And yeah, I mean, it's one of those two, obviously, but I would think coming off an MVP season like Josh Allen had, I would say it's definitely him. But the guy that's got to be the most frustrated is Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow was my pick to be the league MVP before last season. And if you look at his numbers and just ignored his team, he was the MVP. Unfortunately, they have no defense, and that's the cheapest operation in the NFL. The Bengals refuse to put any money into that organization. So Joe Burrow is in no man's land. But I would give a slight edge to Josh Allen over Lamar Jackson as the quarterback that has the most pressure. Because I don't know, I just get a sense that Buffalo's window is closing quicker than Baltimore's. So I would say the Bills and Josh Allen have the most pressure. Plus the fact, obviously, that the Bills have never won a Super Bowl. So that only adds to it.
Hey, Hartman, I know you have I know you're a big, fight, you watch boxing for years. Do you Jake Paul's fighting this week? Do you like what Jake Paul's done for the sport, or do you can't stand him?
Well, it says everything about boxing that we have Jake Paul in this position. Guys, to give you an idea how things used to be, so back in the 2000s, I was in Vegas at least once a month, if not twice a month, covering fights. Like we were in Vegas all the time. And this is back in Oscar De La Hoya and Sugar Shane Mosley and Diego Corrales and Winky Wright and it just, the list goes on and on about all the mix of great fights that had tremendous interest. I mean, this continued on with Floyd Mayweather and, obviously with Manny Pacquiao and all those great fighters. And we are at such a low ebb right now in the world of boxing that it's hard to even generate interest in a single fight. And if I really want to go old school, I mean, can you imagine I was around, like when I was in your guys' age bracket, I mean, it was Hearns and Hagler and Leonard and Duran and any mix of those guys. And these weren't the heavyweights, right? I mean, we had Tyson, obviously, but Tyson was just demolishing people, until things went sideways for him with that fight against Buster Douglas back in the day. Then you had Evander Holyfield, Riddick Bowe. I mean, these were names that just the average sports fan knew. If you are not a hardcore boxing fan, who can you name? Canelo? I mean, who exactly is a name that would resonate with an average sports fan that isn't a particularly boxing fan? That's how far the world of boxing has fallen. I would never have dreamt that boxing was such a huge sport back in the day. I love the history of the sport. There was a time in this country where the biggest sports were boxing, baseball, college football, not the NFL, and horse racing. Those were the biggest sports in America at one point. So it's an evolution of things, but there's no doubt that, UFC, everything has just changed, completely changed in that dynamic. And unfortunately for boxing has gone the way of IndyCar racing. It has just completely fallen off the map.
Steve Hartman, before we get you out of here, speaking of how things have changed in sports, with the recent approval of the House bill in NIL in college football, the landscape has changed, or in college sports landscape, obviously it gets a little bit more obscured. I have some sources at UCLA that are telling me UCLA is preparing to cut some sports. What do you see this doing to some of the programs like a UCLA that have such a rich history in the Olympic sports, as it's an anchor, especially here in Southern California, but also are we going to see college sports fans start turning towards the professional sports because of how corporate the field is going to be in the NCAA?
It's a great question. It's hard for me to predict exactly where this is going. First of all, what right off the bat, we've got something that could be challenged. So they put this $20 million per school. That's a salary cap. That's not going to hold up. It's just not going to hold up. Once this Pandora's box was opened up, and my dear friend Sonny Vaccaro did this with the Ed O'Bannon case and the idea of paying ex-athletes for the schools, benefiting from their likeness and their image and jerseys and everything well beyond their years in college. This is how this whole thing started. And then people thought, well, it'll be isolated in California. There's no chance. And now it's a completely runaway train. It is what it is. College football has been a free minor league for the NFL forever. Major League Baseball's minor leagues are beginning to evaporate slow. But especially for the NFL, they've had a free ticket in terms of a farm system, which is college football. And already they're perturbed because these schools are able to offer millions of dollars to players to, come back for extra years of college and prevent them from going into the NFL. So, and as far as the Olympic sports are concerned, if you can't carry your weight, you're going to go bye-bye. It's very simple. They're not, when you put a limit on how much money a school can dish out in NIL money, where do you think that money is going to go? The money's going to go to the revenue generating sports. They're not going to put any money in the pockets unless you got, like the gymnast girl, Paul Skeen's girlfriend, who has proven on social media that she can get, clicks and everything else. They're not going to do that. They're just not. I mean, think about this. So the girl from, what was it, Texas Tech? Or was it A&I? The one that beat UCLA. They gave her, and she got shelled in the women's softball championship game after they gave her $1 million NIL deal. You think they're regretting that? They could use that money to help out their football team or their basketball team. So it just makes sense. Unless you're a sport that can actually generate revenue into that university, they are not going to spend money and put money in the pockets of athletes that don't actually give them the return on their dollar. So they're going to be gone. And what's also going to happen, obviously, guys, with the strength of the SEC and the Big Ten, you're going to start seeing schools evaporate from the big picture. And that's why schools like San Diego State are so desperate to somehow hang on and still be able to, prove their worth. But it's almost impossible when you're going against these big wigs that, the SEC and the Big Ten eventually you're going to have a 2-conference college football. NCAA has no jurisdiction over college football at all. And that's what's going to happen. Survival of the fittest.
Steve Hartman, you hear him nationally on Fox Sports Radio. You catch him every week here on San Diego Sports 760 with Fletch and Sammy. I owe you a dinner, my friend, at the Four Seasons in Coin and Candor in Westlake. So let's get a date on the book soon.
I'll always take a free dinner. Always take a free dinner. I'm always giving Sammy advice on certain things, and Fletch. I try to give him advice on how to eat and the good life. Live the good life, guys. That's all I can say. Live the high life, and I will continue to have my Tuesday date nights, chew it and do it, and something for you guys to look forward to in the future. But at your stage of life, oh my God, just go for it, man. Just absolutely
listen to
go
Uncle
hog
Steve.
wild.
That's what he's saying.
Love the positive vibes. Love the
Steve,
positive vibes.
our lives are elevated when you join us, and this is the conversation we all needed. Thank you so much, and have a great weekend, man.
All right, have a great week, guys.
Steve Hartman, there he goes. Coming up next, we're going to wrap things up, and we'll give away those Billy Idol tickets. Finishing things up on San Diego Sports 760, it's the Fletch Zone. Festival is back. Live performances by Bryan Adams, Ed Sheeran, John Fogerty, Mariah Carey, Maroon 5, Sammy Hagar, The Offspring, Tim McGraw, and more September 19th and 20th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. 2 nights, 1 stage. Buy tickets at AXS.com. Get them now before they sell out. Marshall, this has been a true pleasure to meet you, my man.
Thank you.
To do this show with you. You got any big... Give us really quickly, 10 seconds, what you got going on this weekend.
Doing on the boards for the SDFC match tomorrow night. So it's been an honor to meet you guys, and thank you so much.
Absolutely. Sammy, anything going on for you this weekend?
Just kidding. I think I'm gonna see the F1 movie. Check that out. And it was a blast doing it with you boys.
Hell yeah. We'll have an F1 guest next time I'm on. Our good friend Sean Kelly, who covers F1 all internationally for the sport. I'm gonna be taking off from Montreal on Sunday. It's going to be a slew of different hosts, all great. I heard Frankie V's going to make an appearance next week. Stay tuned for that. Sammy, thank you. You work your butt off for everybody making the show run. Marshall, you're the man. Big thanks to Derek Togerson from NBC7, from Steve Hartman on Fox Sports Radio. My name is Jonathan Rifkind. Have a great weekend. John and Jim are coming up next. This has been the Fletch Zone on San Diego Sports 760.